Welcome back, everybody. I'm out here today at Universal Studios to check out the newest updates for Halloween Horror Nights 2023. I feel like it's only been a few weeks since I was last here, and so much has already changed. I'm gonna be walking all of the scare zones, I'm gonna be checking out some of the new food booths that have popped up, and any other additional little secrets I find along the way, or any little whispers of speculation I've been hearing. Why don't you guys come along? Let's go make some memories together. Walking into the main entrance, we are quite literally thrown into the first scare zone. This one is going to be Dr. Oddfellow's collection of horrors. You will be lured into Halloween Horror Nights after Dr. Oddfellow vows to make you immortal. He'll give you a chilling preview of his wicked schemes before you fall prey to them. Now, I'm not super versed in HHN lore, but I believe Dr. Oddfellow is an existing character who is responsible for creating Jack the Clown, who is the most iconic character for HHN. Now, all they have right now is this kind of, I guess, trellis, this kind of overhang, which I would assume would have Halloween Horror Nights, the year or the date or whatever. And then this here might be a stage of some kind. There's some scaffolding behind this scrim. But if we turn over here to the right, we see a caravan of some kind. I'm not sure if this is where Dr. Oddfellow will be, because in the past we've had like the Pumpkin Lord over here in this area, and I think since they built this new stand that's kind of like occupied now, this thing is huge. It's obviously a stage for a scare actor to be on. Yeah, I would assume this is where he would be. This feels like a caravan some kind of witch doctor or circus freaks would have. I want to come along the backside here and see if there's anything different. Oh, there is. So we've got the door that leads inside the caravan with some stairs, and then kind of the backside of a circus tent. I would assume this is for the scare actors to enter and exit the actual stage. Now, normally the scare zone is all the way back here where I am with Minion Mayhem, kind of in this general area. But I think since the opening of VillainCon Minion Blast, which I would assume would be open during HHN, they're going to keep this area clean and clear for guests who want to actually go participate in the attraction, since it is brand new. I think it officially opened, I think yesterday. It's been a soft opening for a couple weeks. But I don't see much happening in this area, just to kind of keep it clear, so guests can take advantage of that. But yeah, right now that's all that exists for Dr. Oddfellow's collection of oddities, which is our first scare zone. It should set the tone for the evening and probably set for a pretty good idea of what to expect from HHN. Now, what's cool about this year's scare zones is that they are actually all tied to Dr. Oddfellow. So he is immortal and has existed for the last however many years. Each scare zone is obviously a little different. We're gonna have different points in time where he has done something in that time period to wreak havoc, to add to his collection of monsters. We're entering into the Beverly Hills section, which is for the next scare zone, Dark Zodiac. Dr. Oddfellow has entered a dark dimension to harness the power of the Zodiac and live forever. He twists the signs into malevolent beings who foretell your doom. As his star rises, yours falls. I will say, picking a Zodiac for a scare zone is a really unique choice. I think it's very cool. I love astrology, I think it's fun. We have our first stage here, which looks to be the fire signs. We've got Leo and Aries and Sagittarius. And I don't know if there's really, I guess there is stairs here. There's not really enough room for multiple scare actors to be up there. I would assume there'll probably be at least 2 up here, probably dressed as these signs. I would assume 3 if all 3 signs are represented. And over here towards the end of the scare zone, which is right through there, we have the water stage. We've got Scorpio in this very cool wheel. We've got Pisces represented by the fish up there. And then around the side here, we have Cancer, which does look very strange. It looks more like a scorpion or like a bug more than like an actual crab. I guess I can kind of see it in the silhouette that it's a crab. But I would assume same thing. We'd have representatives for each of the signs on this stage. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what these costumes look like. I could see them being like just clad in like gold or something really like ornate and cool, but also like scary and creepy. And now right now, those are the only 2 stages with water and fire. We're gonna be getting a earth stage, an air stage, which is gonna have the other 6 signs, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius for air, and Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo for the earth signs. This one's probably my most anticipated just because I don't really know what to expect from it. I think it's gonna be really unique to see these potential costumes of all 12 zodiac signs represented and just how creative that they can get with it. Because I love the symbolism of all the signs. I love astrology. I don't necessarily believe in it, but I still think it's fun when you see like the different tropes and you're like, hey, that actually fits me pretty well. Leaving Beverly Hills and Dark Zodiac, we're gonna be heading over here towards Central Park and into Jungle of Doom. Now, before we enter Jungle of Doom, which looks very cool from here, we're gonna turn to the right and look at the Day of the Dead booth, the Dia de los Muertos booth. They had this last year, and I don't remember if I ever had anything from it, but I love, love, love how vibrant it is. And I love the use of the marigolds right there. They even changed the facade of this fountain as well, and I love the sugar skull woman up there. Very cool. In the 1920s, Dr. Oddfellow ventured deep into the darkest jungle, performing horrific experiments on nature. Now his monstrous creations are running amok and are coming for you. Coming into Jungle of Doom, which I will say looks very, very cool. This is probably the most complete one, I think, out of all of them. And they have put in some work. This is definitely going to be the smallest scare zone. It's really just this small strip all the way back to Kids Zone. But the amount of props that they have out, like this old camera right here, and all the barrels and all the leaves and trees and stuff, they did this so fast. And last time I was here, this was just a gated off fence, and now they've added all this shrubbery. And then I remember there was this jetted out piece of metal that clearly something was gonna be used for, and ended up being a crashed plane. That is so well done. I love that. We even added a victim to our plane crash, or maybe a survivor, I'm not sure. But there is that traveler's parachute. And then there's his harness right there as well. Lots of little nooks and crannies that scare actors can hide behind. I don't know what these creatures are gonna look like. I would assume plant-like, maybe monkey-like, some kind of like leopard. Also, this scare zone is typically incredibly dark since it's just in such a heavy like tree area just naturally throughout the year. Oh, and look at the bats. Those are massive. Yeah, I would not want to be caught up in the claws of that thing. I love bats, but that's like at least 5 feet tall. We've also got at the end here a little kind of like cocoon looking thing. It's like a little pod that the scare actor can enter and exit and kind of jump out and scare you. So like a little fabric on the one side, yeah, so they can pop in and out. Very cool. Definitely very excited for this one. Oh, and I almost missed this massive spider here. Super creepy. Oh my gosh, there's one over here. Even creepier. Leaving Central Park and entering into Kids Zone. And normally, the state of Kids Zone under construction means kind of a problem for Halloween Horror Nights. Not that there's scare zones or anything really scary back in here, but typically they have queues that weave in and out of the attractions and head backstage to the warehouses and tents where they have the houses at. Now, given the state of this land with all of its construction walls, unless they're gonna finish it up in the next couple of weeks, it's not gonna happen. I have heard that they could be potentially moving those queues over to in between Central Park and Beverly Hills so that you can still enter and exit through backstage areas to get to those houses, which would make the most sense because we haven't lost any houses. We still have 10 houses, which is the normal count for every year. So if you're coming here, don't plan on coming through Kids Zone. I would assume it would be how it is right now with walls. Now the walls here at the front are the only walls I could see coming down because Kids Zone Pizza is situated back here. This is at least where I've gotten pizza fries from before. So they might be able to finish this up in the next couple weeks and tear these down to make that accessible. But if not, pizza fries will definitely still be here, but they'll be at a different location, which I might have an idea where they could be. Coming into Springfield, USA, AKA Simpsons Land. Now, typically because this area is so heavily themed to a specific IP, there's really not much that happens around here for HHN, with the exception of there being like chainsaw men that chase guests around. They weren't here last year, but they've been here for years past. I have heard rumors, and I don't know how much water this holds, that we may see an army of Megan dolls in this area instead. I don't remember where I heard that from, but I would love if Megan was represented here. I still have not seen that movie, but I thought it looked hilariously funny in a scary way. and it got great reviews. I was originally hoping for a Megan house, since I think Megan was made by Blumhouse, and we don't have a Blumhouse house this year. I was hoping we would get that and a Five Nights at Freddy's double feature. Didn't happen this year, maybe next year, but I'll have to come through here on Halloween Horror Nights, the night that I visit, to see if the Megan robot dolls are actually walking around. And I would assume they would do the same choreography that got popular on TikTok that she does in the movie. I don't know the full context of it because I haven't seen it, but it was memed so hard that it was inescapable. So I'm actually pretty excited that actually becomes a thing. Coming into the expo area, which is where Men in Black is. Typically this area does also not have anything for Halloween Horror Nights, except for entrances or exits to houses. And last I was here, looks the exact same still, we had this structure that looks like it could be for like a house marquee to enter and exit the different houses. So I remember last year, this was an exit and that was an entrance, but they may have flipped it for some reason. But yeah, no idea what this is gonna be yet. Cutting across this bridge, over there is the Wizarding World Diagon Alley. Behind me is Simpsons Lane in the expo area. Coming to this little island, I don't really know quite what it's called, but I do see a new booth over here, or like a photo op of some kind. I believe it's actually gonna be a food booth because it looks like a refrigerator or freezer they're pushing in there. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be a food booth of some kind because we do have the little cutouts where the menus would be, but I can't tell what it's supposed to be. This might be Dark Zodiac just because it's kind of castle-like. We have this emblem in the middle. It doesn't actually have any Zodiac signs on it, but it looks rather ominous, something someone might use to conjure evil 12 signs from other dimensions. I think all the booths this year are supposed to be themed off of the houses. We have 10 different houses this year, and I can't think of a single one this would go with. Maybe Darkest Deal, I think that's what it's called. The one where the guy makes a deal with the devil or a demon of some kind. But I'm excited to see what ends up here. No additional new food booths nor any signage for the Halloween show that happens back in the theater, but I have heard it's gonna be different this year. I wouldn't know any of them because I've not seen any of them. So this year might be the year I go check it out, maybe. I'm sure the show is really entertaining, but my one fear is that it's gonna be too much of a time suck that I'm not going to, like I would rather use that time waiting in line for a house than watching a show. Not that I don't think performances are important, because performers are very important, especially to theme parks. It just sounds like something that I wouldn't enjoy as much as walking through the house. But again, I've never seen the show, so again, that might change. Coming into the London waterfront, AKA Diagon Alley, kind of like with Simpsons Land, not a lot really is affected with HHN back here. In fact, last year or the year before, nothing was back here. It just remained as Harry Potter. But we do have some props. I showed these off in one of my last videos, that these might be for Death Eaters to hide behind. I don't know if there's any additional ones, but we're gonna go inside Diagon Alley itself and see if there's any new show scenes. Last year, Death Eaters were over in Hogsmeade at Islands of Adventure, the other park. So this is the first time they've been here. I would assume both parks would get them to kind of like build that extra atmosphere. I don't see why they couldn't. Oh my gosh, it's busy back here. It is a Saturday during summer, so that's my own fault for coming out. So far, everything back here seems the same as last time. If there is any differences, I can't really tell because it's so full of people that like they are probably standing in front of it. But I don't think this area really needs a lot. You just need a couple of barrels and things to hide behind. There's the stage present so they can do some sort of performance, and they're just gonna wander around and just kind of harass guests and kind of like be creepy and mysterious. So that's all you really need for Harry Potter. I'm totally fine with that. Leaving the London waterfront and heading into San Francisco, we have our next scare zone, Shipyard 32, which even has a sign for it. Enter a 1940s San Francisco shipping yard full of mysterious crates and cages bearing Dr. Oddfellow's symbol. Beware, his nightmarish oddities have now escaped, spreading fear and chaos in their wake. Yeah, this is our first scare zone marquee we've seen. All right, we have actually come pretty far. We've got this crash crate, which I don't believe was here last time. It'd be a great scare opportunity. We've got this giant crane, which I think has more painted decals on it now. I can't really tell, but that's clearly the crane that dropped the box. Got other boxes here, which this looks like a pop-out area, so scare actors can jump out of the top and swipe at you or something like that. Got another box over here, which I can tell this front panel is scrim. So I would assume some kind of light flashes behind it and you get spooked because you think it's full wood. I think it's pretty clever. I like that. And at the end here, we've got more cages. This one, scare actors could reach their arms through and swipe at you. And then we have this really cool one that looks pretty unique. I wonder if something's gonna appear in here. I don't know, maybe like a face or something. But this looks pretty heavy duty. You probably don't want to see what Dr. Oddfellow is hiding in this one. And I was wrong about what's behind this wall. I originally thought it was gonna be like a stage that we're gonna build for the scare zone, but it looks like it's gonna be like a permanent food stall. And judging by the top, it could be based on like a trolley since we are in San Francisco. I don't know if that'll be open for HHN, but I don't think it's HHN related. This scare zone might be the one that I'm least anticipating just because the idea of putting monsters in an industrial kind of scare area is kind of generic to me. I feel like I've seen this before, even though I haven't seen this yet. I'm still excited for it. I think it'll be cool. And I like the effect, again, of like the crushed boxes and the crane. But this one I think is just gonna be okay. At the far end of San Francisco, down here near Fast the Furious, right across we have our next booth, and that's gonna be none other than Chucky. Very obviously Chucky, with the blood splatter and the colors. They have the little slots for the menus as well that they'll put in at a later time. Chucky might be the house that I'm least excited for, at least of the like intellectual property houses. I just don't care for him as a villain, as a monster, as a killer. It's not something that's ever vibed with me. Why can't you just kick him and run away? He's like 2 feet tall. But I'm sure the food booth will have some fun, unique offerings because they really do get creative with their food for HHN. And because we have a performance going on over here in the middle of New York, I'm actually gonna skip going through here and go around because I also want the reveal of this last scare zone to be impactful. Plus there could also be some booths over here that we've not seen yet because I kind of forget the park crosses around over here. Coming here to Transformers, which if you take a right takes you down towards Minions Land and a left takes you down towards Beverly Hills. I want to see if this little awning outdoor dining area is themed yet, because it's been stuff in the past. Well, they definitely have this area set up for something. We've got what looks like registers up here. We've got some heating lamps for food. Let's go around to the other side and see if we've got any signage up yet. No signage yet, but last year this was the weekend booth, the artist weekend, since he had a house here. So I can only assume this will be another house. Maybe Stranger Things? No, Stranger Things is something else. I don't know what this is gonna be, but it's gonna be something. Also, last time I was here, there was a string of buoys of some kind that were along the entire water, probably hiding some sort of cable or something. There's fountains underneath here that have now been submerged again, and I know that they are changing up the regular show to a new one, but I don't know if that means we're gonna get a Halloween show. I don't remember if we've had a Halloween show in the past, but it's always a possibility. It'd be cool if we got a Halloween show. Coming back over here to my boy Optimus Prime, we're gonna hang a right and head down towards Minion Land, because I see some more booths down there. Well, I think we hit the mother load on our booths. We better start walking around. Now this first one here isn't necessarily a booth, but it is the Transformers extended queue. Right there is Minions Cafe. But you can see here they've installed like bar taps because this whole area turns into a big outdoor bar that you can come and refill your Blinky cup all night long. And right across we have what is actually our Stranger Things booth. This is gonna be Surfer Boy Pizza, which is a wonderful inclusion. I, for some reason, just didn't anticipate them doing that. I would assume pizza fries might end up being here. Maybe something a little bit more sinister based off like the Demogorgon. Over here we have what has to be the Yeti booth, since we're getting a very cool sounding Yeti house this year. Got some giant scratches there, some snowshoes and some antlers. This is probably the IP house I'm the most excited for because I love cryptids. I think Yetis are cool. I think like abominable snowmen are cool. And it just sounds really interesting. And of course, right here you have none other than The Last of Us, which is based on the video game, not the TV show, which is a very clever way of getting around the licensing fees of paying Pedro Pascal. We've got the symbol for the Fireflies up top. And I know they're gonna be serving raviolis in a can at this booth and some really cool like panko encrusted mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms, but it kind of sounds fun. I feel like I should get it. The Last of Us is probably the booth that I'm the most excited for of all the license houses. Oh my God, I'm being attacked by almost said penguins. Those are penguins, those are pigeons. Anyways, this is probably the booth I'm most excited for. I have started playing The Last of Us, but I haven't finished playing The Last of Us. So I'm kind of going in blind, but any use of putting a video game in Horror Nights is A+ to me. I wish we had more of it. We even got some bricks down here with Fedra on it and more of the symbols for the fireflies. Oh, and I just realized that the booth door can raise and lower, not actually, but it's said to be like a fortress to protect you from the clickers. Very cool. We're not gonna head that direction yet. We're gonna take a left and head back towards the front of the park through Minions Land because I see another booth. Now, when I originally saw this booth, I thought this was the Chucky one, just because it's kind of his colors. But I don't know what this is supposed to be. It's here in like Music Plaza where the stage is at, but I don't know if this is just like a generic booth they made to look fun because we're right across from Minions Cafe and that would be kind of terrifying to have something scary over here, or what this is supposed to be. Let me know in the comments below if you guys know. Heading back here through New York, past Jimmy Fallon and the Rip Ride Rocket Curve, we're gonna be heading into our largest scare zone, Vamp 69 Summer of Blood. At a 60s music fest in a small New York town, you'll jam to popular bands with fellow concertgoers until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes vicious vampires on the audience. They're out for your blood. Now, if you thought I was excited for the Zodiac one, I'm very excited for this one. This is going to be the coolest scare zone. Oh my gosh, I am so hyped for this one. They've done so much with this stage since I was last here. Last time I was here, it was just, actually, I don't even think this bottom part was here. I think it was just the little awning above it. And then now on stage they have all these like speakers, which I don't know if they're real and if there's gonna be actual musicians up here or not. We have instruments. Like we have this very psychedelic guitar, flower power. We've got an electric guitar. We've got drums and bongos and like flags and yeah, just lots of like hippie gear. I love this backdrop. That symbol does look very concerning though. That looks like something that could belong to a cult. And that looks like fire, not a lava lamp. They've also got some very cool motorcycle props over here, which last time these were walled up when I last saw them. And now the wall is down. They tell you not to climb on them, obviously, for safety reasons, but very cool. And there is at least one more over there behind those dividers. And this is very clever, but we actually have a camera situated to record the performance. And it's not a modern day camera. This is a camera from the 60s. That is very cool. I wonder if that's like repurposed, like that's a real camera, or if that's just something that they made as like a prop. Either way, it's a cool touch that they didn't have to do, but they did. As we head further into the land, past the Mummy over here, we have this very cool school bus. We also have what looks like souvenir stands or some kind of, not like kitchen. I don't know what these are. Maybe these might be like fake stalls. These look like fake booths that they would sell like merchandise at if you were at the real festival, which again is a attention detail that they did not need to do. And I think there's one further down that way, which we'll go take a look at here in a second. Now I think this bus is gonna make for some excellent scares out of these windows because these look like they can go down so people can reach out and grab you. I don't know what this like kind of plastic covering is on it, unless it was like a replacement or if it's supposed to look like it's broken. But yeah, I can only assume scare actors are gonna leap out at you from these windows or snarl at you, pose for pictures. Now all the lampposts in the lands also have the signs that have all the band names and Summer Music Fest 69. And then there is that symbol again, that occult symbol that has to be related to Dr. Oddfellow. And here towards the end of the scare zone is another one of those booths that I would assume would be a merchandise booth if you were to actually be at the festival. Now I'm hoping they do more with this scare zone because it still feels a little empty. Last year's there was stuff everywhere in here. So I hope that we get more props as the next couple weeks go on. And one thing I do hope is true is that the tribute store moves back to this location. It's currently over in Beverly Hills and it's currently the Jurassic Park store. If HHN opens in just a few weeks and the Jurassic Park tribute store is still up, if my math adds up correctly, that means that they're not going to use that area for this tribute store, which I'm super thankful for, because I think that is a far superior location than the one we currently have. It's larger, it makes better use of the space, and to have such a large tribute store like Halloween, it needs that bigger area. So fingers crossed that in a few weeks, we'll have the tribute store, and I'll be out here to do a video on that too. And one final location I want to go to before I wrap up today's video is this back alleyway, which last year, I don't remember if it was the year before too, but I know last year it was used to be kind of a meat market of sorts. Now they do have this back here, which I don't know if that is meaning that we're gonna have some HHN stuff back here, because I don't think that's normally here, but they had this entire booth set up with like glass cases of body parts and pieces and all that stuff. And so far nothing, but it was a cool addition that they added. They do have some show lights back here. So maybe? I hope so. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me to Universal today to check out all the new updates for Halloween Horror Nights. I am super excited for this year. They were very quiet on everything for a super long time, so it made me really nervous. And now we're starting to see everything fall into place. It's about a few more weeks, I think 3 or so more weeks until Halloween Horror Nights opening night hits. I'm gonna try to be out here one more time before then to check on final updates right before the event starts. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that video. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys like our video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell so you guys get updates on all of our future adventures. And as always, thanks for making memories with us. I've been Adrian. We'll see you next time.